Joining us now on the message coming out of Chicago is former Republican Congressman and House Majority Leader Eric Cantor. He's vice chairman and managing director at Moelis and Company. And there's a day doesn't go by where either side isn't playing on either emotions or feelings or something like that. So, it is the DNC, and we're going to see a lot of this. But when it's all said and done, it would be good to really know exactly how either side is going to govern. And on the Republican side, I mean, you got to explain tariffs, how that's going to not be inflationary. You've got to come to grips with $33 trillion, just like anyone, or $34 trillion in debt. But on the Democratic side, I think there's plenty to talk about for a guy like you, who was a Republican, and you were, in the House. Some of these, we shouldn't be surprised. These were all in the Biden plank, I think. The 28% for corporate taxes, the raising capital gains. We've seen all this before, but they're going to do it, or they're going to try.
So I'm still a Republican, so I am still believe in free markets. And this is what's so stunning about what's coming out of Chicago right now is all of a sudden, and I do think it's an opportunity for Donald Trump and the Trump campaign now
to talk about issues,
to make a distinction, because either we are a system that believes in the markets, or we think Washington is going to be better at setting prices. So this speech that Kamala Harris gave in Raleigh on Friday on her economic platform, and she began to talk about gouging, it is about price fixing. And if you think that Washington is going to be better at deciding what a pound of hamburger meat costs or a box of cereal costs than the market, then that is your philosophy and this is what you support. But we all know these are warmed over failed policies of the 1970s. And, I do think, though, what you're seeing is a Harris campaign trying to separate itself from the Biden-Harris agenda, which she was a part of every single day.
Trying to separate, and yet really maybe even going a little bit to the left of where what I already think was a pretty far left agenda from the Biden administration.
Well, they can't get away from the fact that there has been extraordinary inflation.
Around the world, though, that's what they'll tell you, that and that we've dealt with it better than most places, right?
Well, but that is the bottom line. The reason why we've had inflation is we flushed so much money into this economy, and then there were supply chain problems. So you had limited supply, you had more demand because of all the fiscal policies coming out of Washington. No wonder we had the kind of inflation we did.
Well, Europe did have higher inflation. They were able to bring it down more rapidly, though.
Because we have had we had $5 trillion of liquidity that put into people's pockets. And what's so stunning to me is on Kamala's platform, she's now advocating $25,000 for housing, right, when the real problem is there's no supply.
Well, what really, I'll let you talk about it. What really gets me is that I've seen the Biden administration take credit for coming out of the pandemic much better than anywhere else, and dealing with inflation better than anywhere else. And creating more jobs than anywhere else. It wasn't the government that did those things. It was corporate America. They came out of the pandemic. That it was corporate America that created those jobs. So who do you go after? Corporations? The same people that you're taking credit for, or the same entities that you're taking credit for. They're the ones that you're bashing every word you utter at the convention. Is bashing corporations.
You have been consistent in saying there have been many CEOs, leaders of companies. I know at Moelis we have plenty of clients who have made investments in this country because of the tax rate. And we have had economists say, when you lower that corporate tax rate, we stop the inversions, we stop the flight of capital out of this country. And now what this Harris platform is about, and what she has said is, no, we're going to go back to the failed policy of having higher corporate rates so we can be less competitive vis-a-vis our foreign competition. I mean, it just makes no sense. But again, this is all about politics right now. It's all about politics. It's all about her trying to go get these independent voters and blame whatever it is their problem on someone else.
Are you surprised that the relief in the Democratic Party of not having Joe Biden at the top of the ticket? I've never seen anything. I guess
she's risen in the polls rapidly. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, first of all, I think people who looked at the equation when it was Biden versus Donald Trump, you remember, there was always this discussion about the double haters, that there was an extraordinary number of people in this country who just, couldn't stand either one. So now the Democrats have taken that out of the equation. And I think, listen, it's the media, and I don't want to include the current crowd, but the media has been very part and parcel of allowing this to happen.
Paul Ryan, former Speaker of the House, former vice presidential running candidate for Mitt Romney, said whoever dumped either Biden or Trump first was going to win, that this was two older people who were put at the top of the ticket, and whoever dumped it first would win. What do you think of it?
Well, look, I don't think that the American people and this sliver of independence is going to decide this race. Remember, we're talking about six.
Is it the sliver of independence, or is it the extremes, if you can get out the vote?
All
because
of the above.
It seems like that's what they're trying to do.
All of the above. So again, remember what their extremes on the left are for. They're for this extreme environmental agenda. They're for the extreme border agenda. They are for, a lot of the health care policies she's trying to run away from. Remember, that's the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren agenda. So they've got to get their base out. Their base is really excited right now. So they're trying to go for the independent right now. It's not just the professional business person. It is the working men and women who are really not paying a lot of attention to this. So if they hear, hey, we can get some money, or we can go and stick it to corporations so we have it better, that is an appeal to the independents. So I think I give the American people and the independent voter a lot more credit than what this ploy is that the Democrats are trying to do. And I think Donald Trump will, once this fever pitch dies down after the Democratic convention, that we'll have a much more, hopefully a much more balanced discussion. And I think Donald Trump, in the end, policy-wise, and the fact that people remember things were a lot better when he was president, that he'll win.